Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another live stream. Things are looking crazy right now as the markets keep tanking. Stock market is getting wrecked, and this is once again an opportunity for everyone to get in at these low prices. When there's blood in the streets, you should be picking up your coins and dollar cost averaging. This is very reminiscent of what we saw back in 2020 in March with the so-called COVID dump. And lots of people sold at a loss, and lots of people bought at those bottom prices, and they've made bank since then. Obviously, I'm not a financial advisor. Anything I say is strictly my opinion only. But let's take a look at the Bitcoin chart right now on the weekly. So we're above the 55 EMA, and we've been talking about this for a very long time right now. The 55 EMA is your plan B support level, you could say. Once we lose the 20, the 55 is there to carry us until we're done with this correction and we're ready for that next leg up, that final wave 5, because we had a wave 1, a wave 2, wave 3, wave 4. Now we're looking for that wave 5 to complete this bull market. In my opinion, the fourth quarter of 2024 is going to be the most bullish one in 2024, and it's going to kick off the alt season that everyone's expecting. And hopefully by January, February 2025, Bitcoin is way past its all-time high prices. Now, if we go back to March 2020, we had a very similar black swan event. We crashed, and look at this wick. In a matter of few weeks, the price dropped 62% for Bitcoin. And then right now we're only looking at a 28 to 32% crash if you count in the wick at the bottom, which is nothing. This is just a very small correction. Now, no one is saying that it cannot go lower than that. It definitely can. But what we are hoping for is that the candle is going to close above the 55 EMA there. That's the important thing. So the wick, just like here, can go as low as it wants to. It can grab some liquidity from even $45,000. That's not a problem. But we do want to close the candle above the 55 so that we can see that this is our actual support moving forward. This exact scenario has played out in 2021. You can see in May, June 2021, we had a massive correction, 67%. Once again, in 2021, we had a massive, massive crash, actually 55%. And I've been a part of that, and it was brutal. It was brutal, but Bitcoin hasn't done anything like that since in terms of corrections during a bull market. Like, we had a few corrections here and there, but those were roughly 20% corrections all the time. Yeah, 17 to 20%, nothing major. But this is the biggest one so far in this bull market, in this cycle. But in 2021, this correction was brutal, 55%. And if you look back to what people were doing back then, they were calling it, the beginning of the bear market. They were saying that Bitcoin is going to zero and the usual stuff they usually say in these types of situations. And then they were proven wrong, as always. So what we're expecting here is probably sideways movement until September, which is when hopefully the Fed will decide to cut interest rates, because they were waiting for unemployment to go up unofficially, because obviously they can't say that they openly want the unemployment rate to go up. That's not a good thing to say in general, but that's one of the key factors that we're looking at. And obviously, if we have another massive bank run, if the stock market crashes, they will be forced to cut, because if something breaks in the system, they have to ease on their monetary policy, because they cannot keep the rates high forever, and it's just a matter of time. But for now, everyone's expecting it to happen in September. Hey there, everyone. Thank you for joining the stream. Exactly, blood in the streets, Tristan, and this is where you should be dollar cost averaging. Of course, not a financial advice, but we did have 2 trade alerts out on Patreon already. The link is down below in the description. We have a 7-day free trial for everyone who joins our Patreon. And if you haven't checked it out already, make sure to do so. We have 80+ low caps covered in there. We have lots of podcast episodes, technical analysis, trade alerts. All of my portfolios are going to be in there. And feel free to send in your altcoin request. We're going to take a look at altcoins in this live stream. And we're going to take a look at some low caps probably too. But all my money is finished. Can't buy more. Well, that's the problem. If only we had more money to buy these lower prices. A lot of discounts. That is true. Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Please, Polkadot and Moon River. We'll take a look at those. But before that, I quickly want to jump into some inflation news. So the July Fed meeting, Fed gets ready to raise rates in September. Now, what they're talking about here is in case something goes wrong, they are ready to increase the interest rates. But inflation has been coming down. So if we take a look at the PCE or the core PCE in June 2024 was up 2.6% over the past 12 months. While that's higher than the Fed's 2% target, it's a marked improvement from the 4.3% rate growth in June 2023. So inflation is slowly coming down, but it's very sticky. It's sticky, and that's why they can't start cutting as soon as we would like them to. Now, the CPI is looking, so 3.3 in June 2024 compared to 4.9 in June 2023. So no matter which gauge you look at, inflation is coming down. That's why the Fed feels comfortable turning to the other part of its dual mandate, jobs. So the job market or the jobs market looks robust from the outside, but it's showing signs of fraying. The unemployment rate is 4.1%, which we can look at over here. There you go. So it went up from 4.1 in June to 4.3 in July, which was above expectations. And this is another indicator that could allow the Fed to start cutting interest rates earlier, which is low by historical standards, but represents 0.5 percentage point increase from the last time, from this time last year. Initial jobless claims are up from the start of the year, while workers are quitting less often, which typically signals they're less confident in quickly finding a new job. To be fair, the economy grew at an annual rate of 2.8% in the second quarter of this year, beating expectations. Now, obviously, when you're looking at all of these numbers presented by the government, you should take them with a grain of salt. For example, the Fed likes to pick and choose which products they want to put in the basket of goods to calculate the inflation, just so the numbers numbers look better for us, the average folk. Now, talking about all this recession fear, and obviously these conversations have been going on for ages. Now, a recession is, if you use the common rule of thumb, it's 2 consecutive quarters of negative GDP growth. Right now, the GDP of the US is not seeing a decline in growth like it was back in 2020. So that would be a first major, like we had that obviously in the first 2 quarters of 2022 and then in the second quarter of 2020 during the COVID dump. But we don't see that right now, so we can't really say that we are going into a recession. The third quarter of 2024 is going to show us a lot. If we have the first negative quarter of this year, that may lead to some bad things going on in the markets. So always have dry powder at your side, because anything can happen at any time. We can have another flash crash, a war breaking out somewhere, God forbid, but that will tank the prices. And if you're in the crypto markets that are open 24/7, you want to be able to take advantage of all of that. I think that's pretty much everything I wanted to show you. Just a quick little breakdown of the whole recession situation. I think the whales are enjoying buying the current prices. Can you cover Theta today, bro? Thanks. We'll cover Theta. No worries. Salana, Injective, Render, and Jupiter, please. All right. So here are some of the stocks that are taking a hit. Obviously, Tesla, Meta, Nvidia, Microsoft, Amazon, and Google. Pretty big corrections for the stock market. This is not crypto. They don't usually see these types of corrections. And This is how lots of people are going to look like today when they check their portfolio. Yeah, like I said, if you aren't ready to see a 70% retracement in your portfolio, then the crypto market isn't for you. Because this is a very, very volatile space. You can stick with stocks if you feel like this is too much of a, too much of a nerve-wracking experience for you, which is fine. It's not for everyone, obviously. But for those of you who have been here for quite a long time, you know how this goes. You know that these corrections are always an opportunity. And if you zoom out, you go to the monthly chart, you look at what Bitcoin has gone through and what it has done over the past few years. Like back in 2015, which is 9 years ago, we were sitting at $155. Right now, we're sitting at $53,000, and people are panicking over the price. This is basic, illogical human behavior, but it's what you have to go against, right? You have to go against the herd, and that's the only way you make money. When everyone's selling, you want to be buying. When everyone's buying, you want to be selling. So right now, everyone's going to be selling out of fear of recession and out of fear of obviously losing their assets or having their money frozen in those assets, and they'll have to wait, obviously, for a few years for the prices to come back up. So instead of doing that, they just want to sell right now, take the L, and move forward with whatever they might do in the future. But they want to have cash at hand. And cash is important in situations like this, because if we do go into recession, people are going to need cash. So let's start taking a look at the requests here. Let's start with Polkadot. So Polkadot is coming down to its October 2023 low. And the wick already pretty much retraced back to our October bottom. Now, this could potentially be a very good scenario for Polkadot, where we have a nice double bottom pattern. We talked about this already. And not only Polkadot, lots of coins are potentially, in the midst of printing their second bottom in this bullish reversal pattern. So once we have the second bottom that's hopefully going to be above or at the same level as the October bottom, we could be looking for an impulsive move to the upside. And once we break the neckline, we could be in for a nice ride to the upside. Just to give you an expectation of what the target could look like, we could be looking at $24, $23. So early 2025, end of 2024, we could be looking at $24 per Polkadot coin, which I think is a pretty good increase. Obviously, that's not close to the that's just, halfway back to the all-time high prices, but that's what I would be expecting by the end of this year if we indeed have the rest of this bull market to play out. Lots of factors to count in, but things like this do happen during a bull market. So as you can see, I have zero emotions towards this correction. I bought in the dip. I'm fine. Whatever happens, happens. When you buy into these projects, keep in mind that you can see these 50% corrections, but that doesn't automatically mean the project is trash or it's going to zero. This is a normal coin for during a bear market, essentially. You could argue that Polkadot never broke out of its bear market, and that is true because we never broke above the August 2022 high. We had a quick, as you can see here, quick break above that, just a fake out, and then we rejected and came back down essentially. So we want to see this local top broken in March 2024. Once that happens, once we break $9.70, we can start talking about targets to the upside. But this is definitely a very good buying opportunity for Polkadot. If we take a look at the weekly, yeah, we printed a bearish cross already. That is not a good sign necessarily on an altcoin, but as long as Bitcoin hasn't done that yet, this should be fine. So this is just a continuation of this bear market that Polkadot is in. And once we break above this, let's actually set up a Fibonacci here. So let's say we take the current low, which is probably going to be somewhere around $4, and we set a Fibonacci retracement. So we have our 1.618 at $18.43, and then your second target would be at $26.50. So as long as this candle closes above the wave one bottom, this Elliott wave structure should be intact. as long as the candle closes above. That's all we want to see. And the other coin that you requested, I think, was Moon River. All right. There we go. So let's take a look at the weekly. Moon River is doing better than Polkadot. It's still higher than its October low by essentially 100%, which is good. And if you don't have any Moon River at the moment, this is a good opportunity to dollar cost average. We did set up a Fibonacci retracement here. In the case that we see a correction below the April low here, we would be looking at the 1.618. That was $6.57. If you had set up some buy limit orders at those prices, that would have been a really good opportunity for you to get into the project at a very low price. But even, even $7.24, that's quite low in my opinion. So I wouldn't be worried about specifically getting $6.50. As long as it's pretty low, you're good to go. As long as you're not buying these massive green candles at $40, then you're good to go. Can you cover Theta? Let's take a look at Theta. And I do own Polkadot. I do own Moon River. I do own Theta. So let's take a look at Theta. So Theta is coming back down to its February 2024 low, which we did give you a few support trend lines here. So the first one was $1.16, and the other one was $1.06. But we dipped even below that. We dipped to like 90 cents, which also covers this low over here. That's at 95.5 cents or so. So feel free to take a look at those levels if you want to set up some buy limit orders. If you don't have any coins yet, I would suggest you look into the project. We're only up 90 or 85% from the October low there. So this is a good buying opportunity. Pretty much everything across the board is a good buying opportunity at the moment. We're 72% down from our local top in March 2024. And just zoom out, look at the weekly chart. Look where Theta was a few years ago, like 4 years ago, and then look at where we're right now. We bottomed out in September at 57 cents. Can we dip back into this blue support block that we gave you a few years ago? Yes, that's possible. Feel free to set up some buy limit orders between 79 cents and 55 cents. We gave you this all the way back in 2022 based on this trading range from 2020. So the top in September and the bottom in November 2020. So we retested that perfectly in December 2022, and then in June, May, September, October 2023, we were chilling in that blue support block until we started breaking out into that parabolic move into March 2024. So we peaked at roughly $3.80. So if I did not have any Theta at the moment, I would definitely be looking at picking up some coins at around $1. That's a pretty good entry. Another coin that I would look at is obviously Near Protocol. Very good entry points right now. Anything below $4 is just a steal. Same goes for Polygon Matic. You have Mina Protocol that's actually dropping out of this channel up pattern. You have Kusama that's dropping out of its channel up pattern. Injective is doing okay. Still not, it's just 75% correction. But obviously way, way above its July 2022 bottom. Fetch, you can look at Fetch. I would also advise looking at IMX. This coin we've been covering for quite a while, and from its December 2022 low, we're up 176%. Everyone who's joining in, welcome to the live stream. Feel free to scroll back to the start of this live stream because we covered a lot of very, very important points to keep in mind regarding the Fed, their FOMC meetings, and the recession in general that could potentially play out in the next few months in the US. Obviously, the US would affect everyone else around them, Europe and the Middle East. And Japan seeing its worst day ever as well. So Solana, Injective, Render, and Jupiter. Let's take a look at Solana. Congrats to everyone who entered Solana. If you've been with us on the channel back in 2022 and 2023, we gave you all of these support blocks, and look how well they played out. We bottomed out here in December 2022 at roughly $9.90 or $10 if you want to round it up, and we did wick below. So if you entered here, or you even entered here in May 2023, above $15, all of these were amazing buying opportunities, and we got to $200 back in March 2024. And right now, Solana is wicking back to its 55 EMA. I would say the 55 EMA is where I would start buying into Solana if I really wanted to get into the project. But as of right now, I don't have any Solana coins, and I'm not planning to buy into this project. It's above $50 billion in terms of its market cap. So I wouldn't be looking into any purchases, but that's just me. If you are looking to get into Solana, I would advise you look at the 55 EMA. That's a pretty good indicator. That also lines up nicely with this area over here, which is our top in December 2023 and February 2024. That's sitting at $112. That also lines up nicely with the 55 EMA. And if we start losing this low from April 2024, I would look at the 1.272, the 1.414, and of course the 1.618 as our technical target on the Fib. If you're interested to see my Fib retracement settings, here are the settings. You can just pause the video and take a look at the levels that I'm using. And here are the settings. So we have the Fib obviously set to log scale. I have the Fib set in reverse. We have the prices on the right, and that's it. I just have a bit of background there. That's the way my Fib is set up. But of course, if you zoom out, you take a look at where Solana was, like not even 2 years ago. It's way, way above its January 2023 top. We're 1,200% up. So even if you entered here, you shouldn't be worried about Solana. So like I said, I gave you a few support levels there at 101, at 95, and $85 for Solana. Feel free to take a look at those. And then Render is another one that I would be interested in picking up below $4. Let me just find it. Where is Render? Do I have Render here? I don't think I do. Let's switch over real quick. There we go. Look at Render. It's dropping below the 55 EMA. So I would be looking at this top to be retested from May 2023. That's $2.75. That would be a really good entry point. Below that, you have $1.75, which is the top that we had all the way back in February 2023. And then in between those two levels, you have a really good buying opportunity. We can also set up a Fib just to see if we're below the golden ratio. I think we are, probably are. Well, not quite. So the golden ratio is sitting here at $3. That would be a really good area to exit at, or to, bounce at. Because with a Fib, once you have a move to the upside, you start retracing. The golden ratio is the perfect area for picking up some coins. And then from there, If we're still bullish, we have a continuation of the uptrend. But if we lose the golden ratio, then we have a higher likelihood of continuing this downtrend potentially to the bottom of the fib, which is all the way down here at $1.20. So far, render has come down approximately 76%, which is the average retracement we see for altcoins in this correction. So it's no big deal, nothing specific to render itself. So I would set up some buy limit orders between $3 down to $1.76. If we have a massive crash below $1.75, then it's a free-for-all. You know, you buy as much as you can, and then you just wait for things to calm down. Essentially, that's what I would be doing. But I'm gonna keep my eye on render. If it does drop below $3, I might pick up some tokens down the line. So we're going to try to keep it 1 to 2 requests per person. We don't want to stick on the same person for a very long time. Can you please check MBOX for bull run prediction? Okay, Sahad, please don't spam in the comments. Thank you very much. I'll get to your request. I see the comments. Just don't spam, please. So let's take a look at MBOX. $42 million. It is listed on Binance, so that is a good thing. This is the gaming platform, right? Yeah. I mean, does it have Binance and its backers there? Yeah, Binance Labs. So immediately once Binance Labs is listed as a backer and investor, that's a really good sign. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to do 1000x immediately or it will do it at all, but that's obviously a good thing. Now this has been, the chart doesn't look very good, to be honest with you. So the peak was at $12.70. What's the vesting schedule looking like? 59%. There's no vesting schedule here. Yeah, it depends on the MBOX vesting. Okay, we can't really I'm not going to spend too much time looking for the tokenomics, but it looks like there's a bit of token dilution anyway. But getting back to $12, I would be careful setting my targets or expectations way too high in this bull market. So be conservative. It's still a low cap, $43 million. It can easily blow up during the next gaming boom. Because during an alt season, altcoins tend to pump in niches. So we have the gaming niche pumping, we have the AI niche pumping, the deepen niche pumping, the metaverse niche pumping, the private sector pumping. So it's probably going to have its share in the spotlight at some point, but it's not a new project, so I wouldn't be too bullish on it, and it hasn't really done anything significant since the bear market concluded for Bitcoin specifically. Yeah. But let's quickly jump into the chart and see what's possible for MBOX. Tether, there we go. Yeah, so we did look at the chart here. Let's extend this support trend line. Okay, so we're sitting at the 1.618 there at 11.5 cents. Obviously, we're still in a downtrend. We're still nowhere near our August 2022 prices, which is, essentially what sent us into this massive, massive downtrend. We had a bit of a fake out above the 55 EMA earlier in 2024, but that was our only chance really of doing anything bullish or getting above the August 2022 high. And now we're retesting our technical target to the downside. So this could be a nice bottom for MBOX at 11.5 cents. But to set any bull market targets to the upside, I really don't want to feed you some empty expectations. But let's assume the 1.618 here is going to be our bottom. And then we take the August high as the top for this Fibonacci retracement. We could be looking at $1.72 to $2.50. If everything goes well, like from the current prices, that will be a 1,830% increase. So maybe be a bit more conservative. Look at $1.70 and $1.30. That's still a good increase. But if you're waiting for $12 to be met again, just so you understand, from right now, you're going to be looking at 11.7,000%. That's like $15.6, which is the top in November 2021. 11.8,000% to the upside. Do you honestly think it can do that? There's lots of gaming projects doing the exact same thing. So I would be careful setting up too high expectations that are too high and unachievable. I mean, they are achievable, obviously, but you just don't want to wait for a few years for this whole thing to play out. Maybe in the next bull market, it can definitely break above its all-time high. If it sticks around, if the project actually has a good community or people that are sticking to specifically their project and they have a nice fan base, user base, they have volume on a monthly basis that are not let's check the volume. 5 on, I mean, yeah, Binance obviously would be the top one. Let's see what people are saying. Okay. Do MBOX, really? Yeah, there's pretty much no engagement almost on Twitter. They're doing token burns, which is nice. But yeah, that's pretty much it for MBOX. We're not gonna stick to one project for a very long time here. No problem, Liam. Nice having you on the stream as always. Did we look at Chainlink? Not yet. We're gonna look at Chainlink. But Thammer, did you enter MBOX already, or you're planning to enter? That 1.618 target at 11 cents or so is looking good. GLMR, please. Let's take a look at GLMR. Okay, so GLMR is losing its September 2023 low. That is not a very good sign. So we're potentially going to be looking at 10 cents here as our minimal target to the downside since we are losing this low. So we have a fib set up from this top here to that bottom there. We have 10 cents as our technical target. Can this play out? We don't know. But if you want to set up some buy limit orders and potentially catch a wick that's going to go through 10 cents or 11 cents, you can do that, obviously. You can obviously do that, but just like with Polkadot, like we just discussed, it hasn't broken above its August 2022 high, and it's essentially still in its bear market. Because we're not breaking above resistance levels. We're just not. To be in an uptrend, you have to be printing higher highs and higher lows. That's not the case with GLMR at the moment. Obviously, these are good buying prices. So until things change in terms of the trend, we can't really be expecting some $5 to $7 targets for GLMR because we have to be realistic. Just because we have the project doesn't mean it's going to perform perfectly or it is going to break above its all-time high. That's something important to understand. I do hold GLMR, full disclosure, but just because I hold it, I'm not going to feed you some fake expectation. So we need to see the August high broken from 2022 or the July high. And after that, we can talk about targets to the upside. As of right now, it's still a good buying opportunity. If you missed out the September, October 2023 prices, you have even a better opportunity right now. Boss, please tell best 3 10x coins. So 10x coins. Let's see. Obviously, the first one that I would mention would have to be Near Protocol. I think this can easily do a 10x from the current prices. Let's see, what's another easy one? I'd probably say Polygon Matic can do a 10x from here, but that's like a high cap. Let's see. So here we have IMX. This one I would consider, this is like the number one gaming project out there, gaming infrastructure project. So that could definitely do a 10x. You can also take a look at Mantra. It's sitting at an $855 million market cap. We got into this at 79 cents on Patreon, and it has seen a nice move to the upside ever since. We peaked out here at $1.40, but it's not really dropping, as you can see, compared to the rest of the markets. It's not really dropping. So Mantra is performing well. And then another one you can look at that's going to be a really good 10x, easy 10x in my opinion, is Arkham. So a 10x from here would put us at a $2 billion market cap. I think it's not going to be difficult at all for this project to do a $2 billion market cap by the end of the bull market. That's just 5. I think I gave you 5 projects to look at. Moonriver and Eagled. So we looked at Moonriver already. Feel free to go back through the live stream. We covered Moonriver and Eagled. We haven't. So let's take a look at Eagled. Once again, full disclosure, I do own Eagled. And I'm actually surprisingly below my average at this point because I think my average was around $34. So I am tempted to buy a bit more. And once again, similar situation with Polkadot. We are very close to our September 2023 low. We definitely do not want to be losing that. As you can see, this wick shows that there are a lot of buyers coming in at around $20. So you want to set up some buy limit orders in advance if you want to catch anything below 25. Otherwise, it's going to get bought up pretty quickly. So we're essentially retesting this low and we're grabbing some liquidity from there before the next move to the upside. Once again, if we break below this, just like we did with some of the other projects, we are going to be expecting targets to the downside. So we have $17, $14.76, and $11.72. Is Eagle actually going to get down that low? Probably not, but there could be a wick that takes us, let's say, down to $17. just like a wick that we had back. Well, it wasn't trading during the COVID crash in 2020, but you understand what I mean. If we could have a quick wick down here, but the candle still closes above the October low from 2023, we're golden. Once again, I'm not too worried. I'm staking my coins on the Ledger Live app and just waiting for this to play out. Very, very good, very powerful layer one that's focused on business and entertainment. So that's pretty much it for eGold. Once again, there's not a lot to cover with most of these coins because they're sitting at their bottom prices. I mean, they're very good buying opportunities right now. Another one that we have is Cosmos Atom, and this is dropping even below its June 2022 low. So this is, yeah, this I don't like the way it's playing out right now. I'm not going to lie. I am disappointed with Cosmos's price action. We are staking this coin. I'm not selling. I'm not saying I'm going to sell right now or anything like that, but it's not performing as well as we would hope it would be playing out. So we have a nice channel down pattern there, and we're dropping from that. And it looks like we're on our way to the 1.618 target, which is going to be pretty much at the October/November 2020 lows. That's what it seems like to me. And someone was asking about Centrifuge in the chat on Patreon. So Centrifuge is still doing pretty well here, coming back down to 30 cents. We were picking up Centrifuge around these bottom prices, below 20 cents even. And it saw a rally to around $1. So now we're printing our wave 2 bottom. Now we're wave 1, wave 2, then we're looking at the wave 3, wave 4, and wave 5. Wave 3 obviously is the biggest wave all the time in the Elliott wave structure. Over T. Let's take a look at Rose. By the way, Rose was one of our latest additions to my portfolio. I was waiting to buy into this for quite a while. Okay, we don't have Rose here. Let's switch over. For some reason, I can't add the correct chart. There we go. So let's see what's going on with Rose. Because I have started dollar cost averaging into it. And we are coming back down to this purple support block between 0.0561 down to 0.041. That's going to be your area to look at. And if you're entering anywhere within this purple block, this is a very good buying opportunity. I would assume it's a 74% correction-ish. We broke above our July 2022 high. So that was a pretty important thing for us. That was a pretty important milestone. And we even back tested it almost perfectly here in January and had another move to the upside. So what we want to do here is we want to print a higher low. Once we do that, we officially have a nice uptrend going for us. It's not like we're sitting at our December 2022 prices. That could still happen. Obviously, full disclosure, we don't know the future here. But as of right now, it looks like Rose is holding its own pretty well in terms of an uptrend. So we still have a chance for this uptrend to play out. It's not like we're sitting below these lows over here. If that happens, we'll deal with that later. I'm going to continue dollar cost averaging for as long as we continue dipping. Let's see. So you have a really good entry point right now at 0.056. And then anything between 0.0416 and 0.056 is an amazing buying opportunity. And these two here were breaks below that block, so below the support block, and those were extremely good fire sale opportunities for you back in September 2023 and in December 2022. So some of you guys capitalized on that. Congratulations. Some of you didn't. We also saw a nice breakthrough from this inverse head and shoulders pattern, and we got to our target perfectly here at 14.5 cents. That played out quite nicely. We were targeting this back in 2023. So Rose is doing much better than some of the other altcoins, definitely. And for Chainlink, Joey, I don't want to take a look at altcoins that I just dropped a video on. So what you can do is you can go to my channel and you can take a look at our latest upload here. We covered Chainlink and we covered Polygon Matic just 15 hours ago. So feel free to check that out. And that's why I don't really want to focus on these two coins in the live stream, because we have separate breakdowns for their respective charts. GLMR, we covered GLMR already. We haven't done Harmony yet. So let's take a look at Harmony 1. Personally, I haven't bought any Harmony coins and I stayed away from the project. Where's Harmony? There we go. Okay, let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of that. There we go. So we have this support block here and we're dropping below it. We were bouncing off of it in 2022, in 2023 multiple times, but this time around we couldn't hold it as support. We didn't break above our April 2022 top. We just got to roughly 4 cents. Sorry, 40 cents. Oh, what am I even looking at? This is the wrong chart. This is the wrong chart. Sorry, that was Ontology. This is Harmony 1, but it's quite similar. And it looks very similar to what we saw with, with Polkadot, because we just briefly broke above the August 2022 high, and then we saw a rejection. So Polkadot is doing essentially the exact same thing. Polkadot, Harmony 1, exact same price action charts. And we're back to our September 2023 bottom prices. We're back to our January 2023 bottom prices. So once again, this is a very good opportunity for anyone to get into Harmony 1. What's the market cap sitting there for Harmony 1? $141 million. Wow, that is low. That is really low. $4 billion market cap by the end of the bull market is what we had. So we were sitting at $4 billion and the price was 35 cents. Okay, let's go to the coin perspective. And let's take a look at Harmony 1. And what if we are sitting at 35 cents again? That would be a $4.4 billion market cap of 35x. So there's almost 0 to none token dilution. It's not terrible. What are the token unlocks like for Harmony? Oh, there's no Harmony here. Okay. On token unlocks, that's fine. But I'm not, again, as long as we break above this, we can expect higher targets. But we haven't done that yet, so I can't really feed you these bull market expectations when the price action is doing this. That's why we have to wait for Polkadot, for Eagle to break above those. Like, we can expect that to happen, obviously, and based on that expectation, we can set targets. But we don't have that as evidence on the charts yet. So we can expect, like if we set up a fib here, we can be expecting, let's say, a 0.006 on the chart, or a 10 cents Harmony 1 token after we break above the August 2022 high, and you can set up some exit targets for those specific prices whenever you obviously want to exit. But that would be based on the premise that we're breaking above this here. Now, the other question is, can Harmony even get back to its all-time high prices from November 2021? That's another important question to answer, because some projects will not do that, just like Dash, Ethereum Classic, Bitcoin Cash, and all of those OG coins that haven't gone back to their all-time high prices in 2021, XRP being one of them. Those projects haven't retraced even back to their all-time highs. We're not even talking about new all-time highs. We're just talking about retracing back to the same prices. And in a lot of cases, that happens because the token supply gets diluted. So we have more tokens in circulation, which means the market cap is higher. So in reality, they are breaking all-time high prices, but only in market cap terms. In terms of the price itself, it's not doing that because it's going to require a much higher market cap in order to get to the same prices, because there's much more tokens in supply, if that makes sense. So some of the tokens won't get to their all-time high prices because of token dilution, and some of them won't get to their all-time high prices because there's just not enough demand. You know, it's just an old project. People don't want to invest into it. That happens sometimes. But as long as you haven't bought these all-time high prices, you shouldn't be afraid of selling, even if it doesn't get to the all-time high. So let's say you bought in during this bear market, you still have an amazing opportunity. Getting out at 10 cents is still going to be a 11x for you. So that's a pretty good investment. You know, nothing in the stock market is going to do it 11x that easily. Harmony has great tokenomics. That's why I DCA today. Great. I hope the project does well. Personally, I don't want to buy into projects that have gone through a bull market before and aren't performing as well. Like, for example, if I was buying into, if I didn't have any Polkadot, I wouldn't have been buying into it right now based on the price action. But back in 2022, 2023, when we were dollar cost averaging, it was a really good opportunity. But I'm not going to be selling at a loss. And since I bought the coins already, I'm going to stick with them until I actually see that the project is not going to be recovering. Then we'll re-strategize and we'll remove obviously liquidity and we'll put it into a different project. That's not a problem. You can readjust at any time as long as you're not selling at a loss. But my Polkadot entry is very low, so I can sell at $7 and be in profit already. But that's an important thing to consider. It's okay to readjust if it's based on critical thinking and actual, technical arguments. But if you're just doing it based on emotions because your token is not pumping, the other tokens are pumping, usually people do that during bull markets when we're in those hype seasons, and they sell a coin into a coin that's already pumped, and then the coin they sold starts pumping immediately after that. So it happens all the time, especially with newcomers. That's why it's important to pick the projects that you are going to stick with, even if they don't perform as well at the very start. And I'm not saying Polkadot or Harmony 1 are necessarily bad projects. But hopefully it plays out well for you with Harmony 1. These are definitely good buying opportunities for the one token. Thanks, Azika, as always, calling it a day I wanted to say New Zealand, but I'm kind of blanking on what is NL. But, oh, is that Netherlands? I don't think so. I'm sorry, I'm blanking, but that should be it for this live stream, guys. Once again, if you're joining late or if you're watching this as a recording, make sure to watch from the very start, because we cover key points as to the recession or the possibility of a recession in the United States. We cover the FOMC meeting and what is the next logical step for the Fed. And we cover lots of altcoins. We covered lots of ground today, so make sure to watch the whole thing. This could be your just background noise while you're doing something else. Let me know what are your thoughts on the markets in general. Let me know what coins you're picking up down below in the comments after this is up as a video. Thank you all for watching, guys. Once again, feel free to check out the Patreon that's linked down below in the description if you haven't already. We have lots of content available there. As you enter, you pretty much get access to everything since October 2021. So it's a really, really good deal in my opinion. And then if you don't like it, of course, you can leave anytime. Thank you once again. Stay safe and goodbye.